How long are we going to keep trying to save this corn-based ethanol program? For many years, various academic studies have debunked every benefit of this subsidized fuel program.
The benefits of ethanol have been refuted through numerous studies. The University of Minnesota alone produced these findings. Requires more energy than it produces, 2002. Does not make U.S. less dependent on foreign oil, 2004. Affects the food supply, 2006. Has not stabilized the agricultural economy, 2006. Does not reduce the carbon footprint, 2008. Does not improve air quality over petrol fuels, 2017.
Last year was a doozy. An intensive study supported by the Academy of Sciences concluded that ethanol raises emissions by 24%.
However, because of Big Ag's manipulation with our USDA, farmers have become highly dependent on this ethanol program. I've made several videos indicating the coming disaster facing our farmers. All the elements for a farm crisis like that in the 1920s and the 1980s are in sight. Prices of corn are low and going lower because of an oversupply. The main problem is the loss of the export market, which is not coming back anytime soon.
And this is absolutely extraordinary. When a country is losing many billions of dollars on trade with virtually every country it does business with, trade wars are good and easy to win.
You know what? You want to know something? We always win.
Our trade wars have become a boom for Brazil. Last year, Brazil signed a long-term trade agreement with China. It's opened the door to significant private investments. They're building grain loading ports deep into the Amazon. Forests are being destroyed to make room for growing more corn and soybeans. It's becoming an environmental disaster. And who's set to reap the most profits? Our own big ag companies. Trade wars are good for them, but maybe not so easy to win. This past year, profits have not been good for Midwest farmers. The University of Illinois forecasts an average gain of $25 per acre in 2023. Don't worry, the U.S. Farm Program is preparing to make a direct payment of about $125 per acre through crop insurance. By the way, the USDA's recent forecast for 2024 is an even more considerable loss per acre. And if things are not bad enough for our Midwest farmers, now that the EPA has to account for all the carbon dioxide released by industry to meet our goals to achieve a zero emissions level, the production of ethanol is in its crosshairs. To be more specific, our 185 ethanol plants generate 26 million tons of carbon dioxide as a byproduct from the production of ethanol. Some of the CO2 is captured and sold into other applications, most notably carbonated beverages, which eventually are released into the atmosphere. These emissions are no longer the ethanol industry's problem. However, the government is counting the CO2 the ethanol industry does directly vent into the air, about 20 million tons. But instead of just closing down this useless system of resources, a wild scheme is being planned to capture and store the carbon dioxide in caverns deep under where we live. The idea is to liquefy the CO2 at each ethanol plant and send it through an extensive pipeline system, pouring it into a deep cavity in North Dakota before it heats up and turns back into its gaseous state. It must install over 2,000 miles of pipeline across Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, South Dakota, and North Dakota. The project is facing strong pushback from the landowners where they need to dig. There's plenty to dislike about having a high-pressure gas line beside your house. CO2 is odorless and tasteless. There is another idea: nature's way of carbon sequestration. A University of Illinois study earlier this year concluded that growing a winter cover crop can sequester 0.5 ton of carbon dioxide per acre per year. Not only do cover crops capture carbon dioxide, but they have an even more significant benefit of improving soil health. Illinois originated the STAR program, Saving Tomorrow's Agricultural Resources. The STAR program lays out a step-by-step set of options for farmers to save their soil for the future. So what do we think of this idea? Instead of spending the $10 billion on a pipeline, why not offer the monies to farmers to join the STAR program and grow cover crops? The STAR program is endorsed across 8 states in the Midwest. It has led to several other environmental benefits besides carbon capture by reducing fertilizer and pesticide needs and saving our water resources. there are some challenges that the farmers will need to face, most notably switching to precision guidance strip tillage and planting. And until they fully embrace the new practices of producing better food-oriented crops, profits might stay low. But this taxpayer investment directly supports rural America, not some Wall Street businessmen expecting to feast on government subsidies.
So, what should we choose?